Good morning. Good morning, folks. I am Kurt Neufeld. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees, and I'm happy to welcome everybody here on this beautiful morning. I assume we all endured what was left of the hurricane in good shape, but I won't say anything to say but grateful that it was worn out by the time I got here. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brunswick on this Wabanaki land that we now call Brunswick, Maine. If you are visiting for the first time and you'd like some additional information about our church, please stop in the fellowship hall directly behind you at the visitors table and you can get additional information. In the interest of safety, I'd point out to anybody new or anybody who needs refreshing that we have 3 exits from the building. We have the one by the AV booth in the corner of the room, the main door that we probably came in, and all the way through the building, through our religious education rooms, is a 3rd exit. I have one announcement that was handed to me from the Art Gallery Committee. Please welcome Rita Erskine, our artist for the month of September. Rita will be here in the fellowship hall after the service, and if you would like to speak with her or ask her any questions about her art, she'll be available. We have 2 announcements today from committee members. So I would like to welcome Irene Austin first.
Thank you. Good morning. Today is a pop quiz. But if you get test anxiety, no worries. Because it's group answer, just call out the answer if you know it. Neighbors helping neighbors. So first question, what exciting thing is happening very soon? Installation. See how great you're doing already? Awesome. Second question is, where? Right here. Right here. When? Saturday. What's the number of that day? The 23rd. Oh, good. And the time? Thank you, Heidi. 2 o'clock. Yeah, the installation for Karma. We hope that you can attend. And if you are planning to attend and you didn't RSVP yet, can you please let us know that you're coming so we can take care of all logistics? If you still have the invitation that came to you electronically with Joanne Allen's beautiful artwork on it, there's a little link at the bottom for responding. If you didn't keep it, just give Shirley a call in the office on Tuesday. And thank you. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Thank you, Irene. And Tobin has another announcement.
Good morning. My name is Tobin Cooney-Callan, and I serve as your Director of Religious Exploration. We are going to be doing a workshop in the back after church today to talk about becoming a volunteer for RE. So if you are curious about what it means to be a volunteer leader for one of our RE meetings, feel free to come on back today after coffee hour. I'll be there. It'll be a pretty short, maybe about 30 minutes in total presentation. We are also still looking for folks to volunteer. There is a sheet on the back table, the visitors table, where you can sign up, and that's just through the fall. Also, there will be another one of these teacher orientations next week. I'm trying to get away from the word teacher, but I just can't do it. There'll be this meeting leader orientation next week as well. So if you're not able to stay today, put it in your calendar and come visit me next week. Thank you.
And please take a moment to review the green sheets in your order of service for additional announcements. At this time, if you haven't today, I'd like everybody to make sure you silence your phones or other things that might make some noise in the middle of a good moment. Thank you very much for coming.
As we light this chalice this morning and reflect on our mission to welcome all, let us share in a responsive litany of welcome by Richard Gilbert.
We bid you welcome who come with weary spirits seeking rest.
who come with troubles that are too much to bear.
We bid you welcome, who come with hope in your heart.
We bid you welcome, who are seekers of a new faith.
We bid you welcome, who enter this hall as a homecoming.
Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome.
Good morning. My name is Karma Amos, and I am honored to serve as the minister of this congregation and to add my voice to the chorus of welcome that you yourselves have been a part of this morning. We are genuinely glad that you are here. Each month at UUCB, we have a theme of sorts that guides our reflections, and those themes come from a UU worship resource called Soul Matters, which we, along with a few hundred other congregations, are currently using. And as we get our new church year started this month, we're focusing on the gift of welcome. Today, we're going to dig a bit beneath the surface of that aspirational phrase, all are welcome, which is announced in houses of worship all over the world. It's literally printed on signs and included in mission statements, I think, in every town in our nation. But is it ever really true, we ask ourselves today? Are all really welcome? And even as we explore that complicated question together today, we want you to know that you are indeed welcome. There is nothing about who you are that disqualifies you from participation in this community, which is imperfectly but consistently striving to live together in love. May our worship together carry us further along the journey. We invite you to stand in body or spirit as you are able as we sing our opening hymn, Here We Have Gathered, and the words will also appear on the screens. Let us sing together.
Hey!
Good morning. Can you all hear me okay? Great. My name is Tobin Cooney-Callan, and I'm still your Director of Religious Exploration. Now is the time in the service when I invite the young folk, our kids and our young at heart, to come on up and share a story with me. So if that's you, come on up. No one is too cool for story time. No one. Hey, Ben. You could sit wherever you'd like. It's probably easiest to sit on the steps. We'll bring that carpet back next week. Hi, everyone. Hello. It's nice to see you all. Hi, Sean. So the story that I have today is all about welcoming, because that's what we've been talking about. And so it's this person who doesn't necessarily feel like she fits in or feels very welcome everywhere. Has anybody ever felt like you don't quite fit in, or maybe you're not welcome everywhere? Yeah. So it's really nice to be able to find a place where we can all fit in and feel welcome in one way or another. So this story is written by Monica Brown with illustrations by Sarah Palacios, and it is in both English and in Spanish. I'm going to read it just in English for saving of time, and also I'm not that great at Spanish these days. It does double my marketing value. Thanks, Bryce. My name is Marisol McDonald, and I don't match. At least that's what everybody tells me. I play soccer with my cousin Tato, and he says, Marisol, your skin is brown like mine, but your hair is the color of carrots. You don't match. Actually, my hair is the color of fire, I say, and I kick the ball over Tato's head into the goal. My brother says, Marisol, those pants don't match that shirt. They clash. But I love green polka dots and purple stripes. I think they go great together, don't you? I also love peanut butter and jelly burritos. And speaking Spanish, English, and sometimes both. Can I have a puppy? A sweet furry sweet perrito? I ask my parents, por favor. Quizás, Mama says. Maybe, Dad says, smiling and winking. My teacher, Miss Apple, doesn't like the way I sign my name. Marisol McDonald, she says, this does not match. At school, we learn to print and use cursive, but not at the same time. But I like the way Marisol McDonald looks. At recess, Ollie and Emma want to play pirates, and Noah wants to play soccer. How about soccer playing pirates, I suggest. No way, they say, so I run off and play on the swings by myself. After recess, we have art, my favorite subject. I think my drawings surprise my friends. At lunch, Ollie walks over to me and scrunches his nose. A peanut butter and jelly burrito, he asks. I know, I say. It doesn't match, but it sure tastes good. Marisol, you couldn't match if you wanted to, Ollie says. Oh yeah? I bet I can. The next day, I wake up and decide that today I, Marisol McDonald, will match. It's a little hard to find clothes that are all the same color. I play pirates with Ollie at recess, but it's not very fun. Why can't pirates play soccer anyway? I have a regular peanut butter and jelly sandwich at lunch, and the bread tastes mushy. Even art class is a bit boring. Marisol, Miss Apple says, what's wrong? This doesn't look like your usual work. I'm trying to match, I say with a frown. Why? Asks Miss Apple. I can't think of a single good reason. At the end of the day, Miss Apple hands me a note. I open it, and it says, Marisol, I want you to know that I like you just the way you are, because the Marisol McDonald that I know is a creative, unique, bilingual, Peruvian, Scottish, American, soccer-playing artist, and simply marvelous. Ms. Jamiko Apple. I skipped all the way home. When I wake up on Saturday, I put on my pink shirt, my polka dot skirt, and my favorite hat, the one my abuelita bought me from Peru. At breakfast, I say, my name is Marisol McDonald, and I don't match because I don't want to. Bravo, says Mommy. Good for you, says Dad. Now let's go to the pound and get a puppy. When we get to the pound, there are big dogs and little dogs. There are dogs with long noses and dogs with smush faces. There are chocolate-colored puppies and smoky gray puppies and puppies the color of caramel. How will I ever choose? Then I see him. He has one floppy ear and one pointed ear, one blue eye and one brown eye. He is beautiful. I walk over and he leaps into my lap. I cuddle him, and it sounds like he purrs. I think we found just the right dog for you, Marisol, Mommy says. My puppy is perfect. He's mismatched and simply marvelous, just like me. I think I'll name him Kitty. Thank you, everyone. So today we're doing something a little bit different than we've done in a while. We are going to go to our separate meeting spaces by age group. So if you are in grades kindergarten through third, you are going to go with our friend Hillary. And if you are in grades 4 through 6, you are going to go with our friend Kristen. And if you are in grades 7 through 9, you are going to go with me. And we will now sing the children out.
Good morning. I'm Sue Labes, a member of the Pastoral Care Team, and welcome everyone. We have joys today in the book. It's a great joy to have the choir back. Yes. And it's a great joy to wake up to a beautiful sunny day. If you are not here and you would like to send in a joy or a concern, please send it to uucbjoysandconcerns@gmail.com. This address is up on the screen, and it's in the UUCB weekly mail. If you have a concern you would like to discuss in private, please speak with a pastoral care associate. We have light blue ribbons on our name tags, and we would be very happy to listen. Have a good day.
For our prayer response today, I would like to invite us into an abbreviated form of a loving kindness or meditation. This is a Buddhist practice that's certainly not native to me, but one that has meant a lot to me in my life. And it varies according to specific traditions, but holds at its core the goal of generating compassion and increasing our awareness of our interconnection. It's a method of welcoming, blessing for yourself, for the people with whom you share life, for the folks you struggle to love, and for this great web of life that we're a part of. So I want to invite you to just put your body in a comfortable position as you can, and let's breathe together. Let's take a breath in and release out. And again, let's breathe in and out. If you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. You don't have to. But I want to invite you to imagine yourself experiencing complete physical and emotional well-being. Imagine yourself feeling the peace you long for. Imagine feeling perfect love for yourself and thanking yourself for all that you are, knowing that you are enough. And as you focus on that feeling, just in your mind, repeat these messages of love. May I be happy. May I be safe and free from harm. May I be healthy, peaceful, and strong. May I give and receive appreciation today. And just sit with that feeling of self-compassion for a moment. Now picture in your mind someone in your life that you love. Don't take too much time, the first person that comes to mind. And focus your energy on sending them loving kindness. Hold their face in your mind's eye and repeat these same messages. May they be happy. May they be safe and free from harm. May they be healthy, peaceful, and strong. Now picture someone in your life with whom you have a conflict. Maybe someone who has harmed you, a coworker or family member with whom you have unresolved feelings. And focus your energy on sincerely sending them loving kindness. Repeat those messages. May they be happy. May they be safe and free from harm. May they be healthy, peaceful, and strong. Now expand your circle of awareness to include people and other sentient beings all around the globe. Imagine your energies of loving kindness spreading to touch them with a blanket of soft light. Repeat these same phrases. May they be happy. May they be safe and free from harm. May they be healthy and peaceful and strong. Take a few more breaths. Breathing in connection and compassion. Breathing out and releasing anything that separates you from the love you desire. And when you feel ready, I invite you to come back to this room, but to remember that energy that you feel in these moments of connection. You can return here throughout the day or week as you need to. May our connections and our intentions for loving kindness nurture us and all of those with whom we journey in this world. So be it.
Good morning. My name's Michael Jones, and the reading today is We Are All More Human Than Otherwise by Richard Gilbert. The human race is a vast rainbow bursting into view of white and black, red, yellow, and brown. Yet for all, blood is red, the sky is blue, the earth brown, the night dark. In size and shape, we are a varied pattern of tall and short, slim and stout, elegant and plain. Yet for all, there are fingers to touch, hearts to break, eyes to cry, ears to hear, mouths to speak. In tongue, we are a Tower of Babel, a great jumble of voices grasping for words, groping for ways to say love, peace, pity, and hope. Fates compete, claiming the one way. Saviors abound, pointing to salvation. Not all can be right, not one. We are united only by our urge to search. Boundaries divide us, lines drawn to mark our diversity, maps charted to separate the human race from itself. Yet a mother's grief, a father's love, a child's happy cry, an artist's stroke, a musician's sound, batter the boundaries and shatter the walls. Strength and weakness, arrogance and humility, confidence and fear live together in each one, reminding us that we share our common humanity. We are all more human than otherwise.
Up in the mountains, across the sea, out on the prairie, we're family, interconnected. We are as one, you see. We are woven together, you and me.
We are a circle, we are a web, woven together, thread upon thread, interconnected. We are as one, you see. We are woven together, you and me.
We're black and yellow, we're red and white. We are a rainbow, beautiful sight, interconnected. We are as one, you see. We are woven together, you and me.
We are a circle, we are a web, woven together, thread upon thread, interconnected. We are as one, you see. We are woven together, you and me.
Muslim and Christian, Hindu and Jew, Buddhist and pagan, and New Age too, interconnected. We are as one, you see. We are woven together, you and me.
We are a circle, we are a web, woven together, thread upon thread, interconnected. We are as one, you see. We are woven together, you and me.
We're different cultures from many lands. Let's sing together, let's join our hands. Interconnected, we are as one, you see. We are woven together, you and me. Everybody,
We are a circle, we are a web, woven together, thread upon thread, interconnected. We are as one, you see. We are woven together, you and me. We are a circle, we are a web, woven together, thread upon thread, interconnected.
One of the things that I absolutely love about Unitarian Universalism is that we are not afraid of talking directly about hard things. Well, let me put that perhaps more accurately. We may be afraid, we may be daunted, but the commitment our faith urges us towards is an intentional and courageous engagement with life, even, or perhaps especially, the parts of it that we find most difficult and confounding. Now, the topic of welcoming all, believe it or not, is a tough one, if we are willing to go beneath the surface. It is a theme that we could wrap around ourselves like a blanket and feel warm and cozy, and also one that might cause us discomfort, get a little hot or itchy, if we are willing to examine it closely, which is what I want to invite us to do today. As I mentioned earlier, there are many religious organizations that say they welcome all. And most of them, I believe, are sincere about that on some level. However, I also know, and I bet you do too, so many people who have been harmed by church communities, precisely in that sizable gap that exists between their aspirational welcome and how they actually treat people who are deemed different in some way. We know about religious organizations that regularly judge and exclude people. This isn't breaking news. Many of us know this firsthand, intimately. We bear scars. Some of us have been told overtly that we do not belong or that God hates us. Others have received more subtle but no less damaging messages that we are not worthy or enough unless we hide or change something about ourselves. And while we wish it weren't so, we know that certain people are not really ever included when ostensibly all are welcome. It is a highly lamentable fact that so many people have been wounded in the name of a God of love or by religious communities claiming to speak for said God. Now, set against the backdrop of this, it may be tempting for us, as UUs, to feel a bit superior, right? It's what one of my newer teachers, Carrie Points, calls a juicy feeling. Because we're not like that, right? Check us out. UUs explicitly affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of all people. We do. It has historically been our first principle, a foundational starting point for our living tradition, something we take very seriously. And it is okay to have some pride about that, to celebrate that there is something distinctive about our Unitarian and particularly our Universalist heritages that challenge us to widen our hearts, to examine our consciences, and to root out anything that we find in ourselves that would get in the way of us recognizing the sacred value of every being. It's okay to feel good about that aspiration, so long as we tether the balloon of our pride to the weight of our history and the reality of our present. The truth is that we also struggle to live in alignment with our values. Our mission statement here, that summary of why we exist as a congregation, features the phrase, to welcome all. And, this is definitely one of those both and thinking conversations, and that requires that we make an effort to be clear and to remain clear about what we mean when we say that. It's a question we need to know how to answer. When we say we welcome all, what do we mean? It was over 20 years ago that I first heard one of the elders in my other spiritual tradition, Metropolitan Community Churches, say something about this. I have a visceral memory of an MCC conference at which something happened that needed to be addressed head-on and publicly. And it fell to my colleague, the Reverend Ken Martin, who said emphatically to the crowd, "Friends, all people are absolutely welcome here, but all behaviors are not." And I was among the people who stood up and cheered for that, in part because it was the first time I'd heard something so honest about the limitations of welcome. And learning to make a distinction between people and their behaviors has helped me in so many aspects of my life, so many aspects of my life. Now, I admit the concept is not terribly innovative. Ken Martin wasn't the first or the last to say something like that. In fact, one of the religious catchphrases of my generation that imperfectly illustrates the attempt to do this is this phrase, "Love the sinner, hate the sin." Anybody ever hear that? It triggers my eye roll reflex so hard. Love the sinner, hate the sin is the justification that I have heard ad nauseum for the frankly inexcusable and hateful behavior of so-called religious people. The problem with that phrase, the phrase makes sense. The problem with the phrase is that many people don't really love the so-called sinner to start with and have no intention of starting. The notion of looking at someone's behavior versus who they are is helpful only when the value of who they are is not in question. Many years ago, I had a personal experience that reminds me of this, the nuances of this. When I finally discerned a call to ministry, I was eager to get started. I immediately began looking for a school to go to. I had not completed college yet. In fact, I had dropped out after changing majors 5 times. Once I finally figured out what I wanted to be and do, though, I really was excited to do it. So I looked all over the nation, looking for a perfect institution. And I found a little college in Oregon that offered a fairly unique Bachelor of Divinity as a sort of precursor to the MDiv. I did my homework. I talked to alumni. I interviewed current students, many of them themselves queer folks called to ministry. I wrote my application essay with diligence, complete transparency about who I am and what my background is and what I was looking for in a theological education. And I received a response that due to my statement in writing that I was a lesbian, they were denying my application for admission. That's what I said. I got righteously indignant. Something like that had not happened to me before. I was the valedictorian of my senior class. I had a perfect transcript and ACT scores that made me in the most wanted list of the other schools that I had gone to. I don't know if you've picked up on it, but you see that I know about that juicy feeling of thinking myself better. I'm not proud of that. But in any case, I wrote back. I wasn't taking no for an answer. Finally, they acquiesced, and they said they would permit me to become a student if I would sign a contract that I would not engage in homosexual behavior on campus. Seriously. There's a lot more to that story that I don't need to tell you now. One of the great things about becoming a settled minister is that we have time. So if you don't change your mind before next week, I'll tell you the end of the story. The part I want to highlight, though, is that while it's absolutely essential for us to distinguish between who someone is and what their behavior is, it's not as simple as we might think. We humans have a pretty enormous capacity for self-delusion, and our bias makes it into things we aren't even aware of. For the record, homosexual behavior isn't a thing. You should have seen the college president when I was there in my hubris asking him specifically what he was afraid I was going to do on campus. Start a softball team? Redecorate the dining hall? I was snarky and mad, and I felt like I was right and he was wrong, which, even if accurate, was not helpful or pretty. Again, I'm disappointed by my hubris, though not for the fact that I stood up for myself. The point is that we do need to be able to isolate and address behavior at the same time as we affirm and promote inherent personal worth and dignity. If we do one without the other, we are likely only pretending to ourselves that we are standing on high ground. Something happened on social media this week. That's an ominous opening, isn't it? That illustrates further this challenge for us. Our UUA, like our bigger association, our UUA Facebook page included a welcoming meme this week. You won't find the original post any longer. It has been changed due to the deluge of negative feedback. But it said something like this, something like, you'll find a home in a UU congregation where you can be honored for who you are, regardless of actions or decisions. Now, UUs are known for being attached to words and also for being relentless in calling one another out for their misuse. Folks were upset about the message that might give that is the wrong impression. And so our newly elected president, the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, thought it was important enough to provide a response that I want to take the time to read to us, because I don't think you're social media trolls. You might not have heard this before, and I think there's wisdom in this that's applicable for us that we need to sit with. She said this: Unitarian Universalism is a progressive religious movement in the midst of deep work around accountability, covenant, and the ethics by which we hold one another's relative safety and well-being. Yesterday, our main Facebook page posted language stating that we honor all people regardless of their actions. This is simply untrue, and I apologize on behalf of the UUA for the distress raised by this language. I want to take the space to explain why that language was rightly such a cause for concern. To imply that any and all actions are honored here is not only incorrect, but it conflicts with the theological center of our tradition. Universalism is about personhood, not behavior. In other words, our faith makes the radical claim that everyone is born beloved, that no person is beyond the reach of love's embrace, and that there is always the potential for redemption and repair. But because our faith is communal and covenantal, it also calls us to directly address harm, both interpersonal and systemic. We are called to hold one another in love across a range of past mistakes, across a range of beliefs, across a range of identities and perspectives, and a great many other things. We teach that there is always a path back into beloved community. But the covenant that lies at the center of our faith is grounded in love itself. And that love requires that we hold one another accountable for our actions, and that we do the work of repair when we have caused harm. That's the end of her statement. I thought she did a really good job of speaking to a difficult situation. This is tricky, so tricky, and it's really important to who we are called to be in the world if we want to practice what we preach, if we want to achieve some balance between intellectual analysis and compassionate and just action. Sometimes setting a boundary is the only way that we can love both the oppressed and those who perpetrate oppression. Sometimes drawing a boundary interpersonally is the only way that we can love both ourselves and those who are doing us harm. One of the keys for me to meeting this challenge lies in the nature of covenant, as Reverend Sophia rightly points out. Because we're a creedless religion, there's no statement of belief to which we demand allegiance. Rather, we have these spiritual values upon which we agree and want to remain rooted. They're aspirational, they provide guides for us as well as a checkpoint. And core to our religious tradition, we have a practice, a spiritual practice of covenant, of working together to discern and articulate how we want to be living in alignment with our values. The covenants that we make hold us accountable to our own best intentions, and they provide a way for us to deal with our inevitable missteps on the journey there. We revisit them again and again to help us determine whether we're still moving in the right direction, whether we are right now embodying the principles we hold dear in the new context of the world as it changes. And when we find that our covenant is no longer adequate or relevant, we change them. We change them together. Sometimes our welcome can only be truly inclusive when it comes along with healthy boundaries. I'll give some examples. You are welcome here, but your weapons are not. You are welcome here, but if you treat someone else with disrespect, if your words and actions cause harm, we're going to ask you to stop, to modify that behavior. Part of our obligation is to protect the most marginalized and vulnerable, and we take it seriously. Violence in speech and action is not welcome here. Bullying and abuse is not welcome here. We don't need to be wishy-washy about that and still be inclusive. I believe we have the capacity to learn together, to distinguish well between behaviors that love insists we address and curb, and people whom love insists we embrace. It's hard. It's a lesson I also heard through the voice of God on NPR, driving into work this week, and so I'm just going to leave you with this. It's a heavy topic, so we got to get a little bit lighter. The actor Matthew McConaughey just wrote a children's book. You may have heard this yourselves. It's called Just Because. And he's really hoping that the book will help decrease judgment and help children and adults learn to explore more openly the complex nature of life, including the fact that there are few absolutes, and that we have to be genuinely reflective to understand what's really going on and be able to determine what our right actions are. So the book has these pairs of couplets, seemingly contradictory statements that are all true at the same time. And one of them provides some help dealing with this personhood versus behavior question. And here's the sample. This is what the couplet says. Just because you're wailing doesn't mean that you're a crier. Just because I lied doesn't mean that I'm a liar. Now, they asked Matthew to clarify his intention, and he said, don't label someone for something they did one time. Don't label them the liar. Rather say, you lied to me. Why did you lie to me? Not, you're a liar, because that's a shame thrower. And then he shared this experience of himself as a young child with a friend who had lied to him, and he got mad and he called them a liar. And then later on, he had to go back and apologize. And he said, I'm sorry that I called you a liar, but why did you lie to me? And whereas the person had been defensive at first, they were able to shift with that language and say, oh, you're talking about that one event. You're right, I did, my bad. The reason I didn't tell the truth was whatever it was, and I'm sorry. And that became a way of dealing with the problem and staying in relationship. Covenants help us do that, but that doesn't mean they do the work for us. Even when we are clear about the way we want to treat one another with kindness and respect, it becomes hard to follow through on that when someone hurts us and our, hey, wait just a minute reflex kicks in. Covenants do not expect perfection because their role is to help sincerely well-intentioned people learn to live more fully into their values by putting them into practice in the nitty-gritty, annoying reality of life with people. May we be a community of practice together as we take seriously our mission to welcome all and our accountability to our own values, alongside our responsibility to care for the most vulnerable. We're better in this together.
This is the time in our worship service when we take our offering. All Sunday non-pledge cash is split with monthly charity with Soul, and this month's charity is Tedford Housing. So please give as generously as you're able.
I neglected to get the offertory into the order. We shall be known by popular views.
We shall be known for the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tell
these offerings sustain and grow the work of this church, weaving a tapestry of love and action.
Thank you.
Our closing song today is based on that loving kindness meditation. And so we're going to sing this together. It is in the teal hymnals. If you have them, the words will be on the screen, and I don't think you'll need them. We're going to be singing in those circles. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be whole. And we'll move in those circles together. There's 3 verses. I'm going to ask that you just remain seated as we sing this, as we leave. So Derek's going to play through the whole thing one time, and then we'll sing together. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. And I know the words don't match on the screen. We're just going to go with that. Okay, so let's sing that one more time. And when we go to May you be filled. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole. Frederick Gillis wrote these words of blessing, which feel appropriate for this day. May the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us now and always. Let us go in peace. Go in peace.